video, I'm just gonna show you. I made 8 of them. They're in the link in the description if you want to purchase one on my Etsy shop. Thanks. So it started off just by using some polymer clay. That's what I normally use. I built up around aluminum foil base. You'll see I cut off the footage a little early. It was kind of hard to film. I thought about baking it, but I thought I could still reuse the clay, so I didn't do that. It was on to molding. So for the first layer of the mold, I just use a normal silicone I got from my craft store. This is just the layer that captures detail. And the second layer, I didn't add anything to it, but I did let it sit for an hour and it got thick, so I just put it on. And the third layer, I actually improvised because I don't have any of the fancy stuff. I just did some cornstarch that I was kind of nervous about. I didn't think it would cure. It ended up curing those, so maybe that's a trick you want to do. You just mix it into the silicone until you get a thickened consistency that you're hoping for. Like in the video right there, you could see that was pretty good. It was still pretty runny, so I had to thicken it up a bit more. I put some baby powder on there and built up the support shell, which was a urethane resin. It's the same kind that I used to cast, but I put cornstarch in it as well, and I built up around it. The baby powder was used as a release agent so it wouldn't stick. You could see the layers and then the support shell on some of the pieces I cut away, and I thought it was pretty interesting to see. You could see the detail too, but I realized that it didn't really match up because we got all the detail and stuff like this, but then the shell, I should have made registration keys, but you could see the shell right there. It came out really nice. You could kind of see through some parts there, but yeah, you could see it didn't line up on the inside. It did on the outside. So this is my first time doing a layup mold, or brush on mold, whatever you want to call it. But next time I will add registration keys into the mold. Anyway, as for the actual casting part of this project, I used the same urethane that I did without the cornstarch, obviously, but I made 8 of them, which took a whole afternoon, a whole day just casting. And then I sprayed some gray primer on there, which ended up being the final paint. And just like a normal spray paint project, you spray paint and then flip it, you get all the sides. I still didn't get some on the chin areas, but I moved on to acrylic painting. You'll see I did all the yellowish details on all of them, then all the red color on all of them, and then all of the pink for the tongue on all of them, and finally the green. I ended up putting some Mod Podge off camera on all the gray segments because it did get a bit sticky, but it ended up looking pretty good after that.